Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. Today, we're chatting with Hope Pedraza on how to navigate your health and nutrition as a busy entrepreneur. Hope is a certified holistic nutritionist, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and host of the Hopeful and Wholesome Podcast. She helps career women driven to heal their gut, balance their minds, and feel good in their bodies again. Hope is also a mum, a serial entrepreneur, and founder of a Pilates-based franchise, inBalance Studio. I'm really looking forward to chatting with Hope today because I've seen, particularly over the last 12 months, how a change in what and how I'm eating has positively affected my life as an entrepreneur. And I find that really, really interesting. So if you're tired of feeling tired, run down, crawling through your workday, struggling to get things done, I think you'll find this episode really, really helpful. So welcome, Hope. I'm really glad that you're here with me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Marissa. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm really keen to hear your insights because I think entrepreneurial wellness is a really big deal for our listeners because we're all about making life and work as simple as possible, right? And if you don't feel your best, it's a constant struggle. Like I think we all know that feeling of trying to keep going when we're not feeling great. And more I'm hearing entrepreneurs talk about how not feeling great has kind of become the normal. So it's like no one even really takes time to think about it anymore because we're so busy with everything else. So yeah, anytime someone comes along that can give us a little bit of advice about that, it's going to be really, really helpful. So yeah, I'm excited. I've got some questions for you if you're happy to jump in.
Yes, of course. Let's do it.
Lovely. Okay, so the first one is, I know we're going to be talking about human design today, and that's new to me. I haven't heard of it before. So what is human design and why does it play such an important role when it comes to our health and nutrition?
Yeah, great question. So human design, I feel like it's kind of become a little trendy over the past, the past couple of years or so. It's actually been around since the 80s, but it's kind of people I think are just kind of catching on within a lot of spaces, and especially in like the self-development space. And so really, to break it down like the most simple way possible, it is the science of differentiation. It's the total blueprint of your soul. It's the way it combines astrology with the chakra system, some neuroscience and quantum mechanics. And it is the blueprint for your soul, like how your body was designed and how you were designed to interact with like the world around you and the people around you and the energy around you. And so looking at human design, or looking through the lens of human design, looking at wellness through the lens of human design, it's what I think is, and this is kind of where I tie human design into what I do with my coaching. I believe that one of the possible root causes of a lot of chronic disease is that we spend too much energy being who we are not designed to be, whether it's through conditioning, through, society, through genetics, or just, beliefs as a collective about who we should be, right? We live in these shoulds, what I should be doing, who I should be, how I should be living my life. And it goes against like our blueprint, our soul's blueprint, who we were designed to be. And so when we're kind of meeting our soul's blueprint with resistance, we're spending an excessive amount of energy trying to hold up this facade or this like mask of really who we were meant to be, right? We're wasting a lot of energy. And so when we expend this excessive amount of energy, we're wasting energy. And this is what causes dis-ease in the body, dis-ease, right? This is what causes burnout, and it causes issues with our immune system. And this is what causes our health to decline. We're going against who we were designed to be and where we were supposed to put our energy. And so when we know what our unique blueprint is, I say should, and I don't like using shoulds, but how we should be living according to our genetic blueprint, our energetic blueprint. we can live more in alignment with who we were meant to be, and instead of wasting that energy and meeting that resistance. And so I like to tie in human design with when I'm coaching my clients, because, you know, we're trying to heal the body from things. I work with a lot of women who deal with things like autoimmune issues with their energy, digestive issues, so many things. But when we tie the human design piece together, so we're looking for like alignment and flow in terms of like our health in general, like let's get rid of the digestive issues and the autoimmune symptoms and all those. But then let's also look at like alignment and flow just in terms of like our energetics. And so because those two things go together. And so when we're able to kind of put those pieces together, we can truly live in alignment, because then our health is going to match up with like us living in accordance with how our soul was created to be and who we were designed to be.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. So it's not necessarily only about one part of who we are. It's everything, and everything kind of influences each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's really,
that's exactly
really interesting. Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. So when you're an entrepreneur then, and you're kind of like responsible for your whole business, you're finding yourself doing pretty much everything all the time, or, you know, it's kind of go, 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 or you're trying to cram it in around the rest of your life. How do you think human design then would be a benefit to somebody who's living the entrepreneurial life?
Yeah. And this is actually kind of where I got into human design myself. I did this spiritual coaching. I was a spiritual coach for a while, and just a very small piece of the coaching in her program was human design. It was more for business coaching, but I just got hooked on it because I'm like, this is fascinating. Like, it's always fascinating to learn about yourself, but this is like at a whole other level. Like, this is like if you ever, and all of everybody who's listening, you can go online and get your free human design chart. You can go to like myhumandesign.com, mybodygraph.com. There's a ton of free ones out there. And I'm telling you, just even reading the basics without paying for somebody to like do your reading for you, it's like mind blowing. Like how it's like this validating feeling, like, no, I'm not crazy. Like, this is how I'm supposed to be living. You know, you get conditioned with hearing how you should be doing things, like I was just talking about. And that's how I felt. Like, all these things I felt like I needed to apologize for, I needed to stop doing in my business. And this is how I was designed to be. Like, this is like, okay, like it's just that sense of validation. So that's part of it, is you learn how we've been conditioned, or how you've been conditioned, where you feel like you're kind of like, if you've ever felt like frustrated, like you just keep hitting a wall with something in your business, and you find out, you know, all about human design, and you're like, well, crap, like I've been going like around this way when I can just go this way, because according to my, you know, how my design is, this is how I should be. You know, it's really eye-opening and revealing and validating, just to know, you know, how you should be how you interact with the world around you, how you best make decisions, how you can best like make the best decisions for your business, and like how to launch. There's so many pieces we can pull out of human design to help you just stay in alignment with your business and make the decisions that feel good, so that you're not doing things because you feel like you need to do them or you have to do them, but it's like, okay, this feels good. Like, I'm doing it because it feels like in alignment.
Oh, that really speaks to me, because I'm a big believer in doing things because they feel good, or doing things because they feel easy, because I think that's how you know you're on track for doing them the right way for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so to think that there's like a blueprint out there that I could discover where I don't have to question, okay, if I do it this way, will it be easy? Or, you know, like when you want to get started on a new project and you're like, I'm pretty sure I want to do it, but I'm not 100% sure if it's going to feel good while I'm doing it. So should I or shouldn't I? That sounds like it's going to help me out with that kind of thing.
Totally. Absolutely. It really does. And it really helps you just from being too caught up in like societal conditioning and stuff, because you can really feel into your purpose. And it brings a whole new light to like listening to you and to your intuition, which I'm a huge proponent of, listening to your intuition, but it's like this whole new way to do that.
That is amazing. It's almost like it's a science-backed way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's really good, because if there's one thing I teach, like my clients, if they're like, if you could only teach one thing about simplifying business, what would it be? And I'd be like, it's get in alignment and go with the flow and let the momentum build. Yeah. And this sounds like it's a really good way to help you find out who you are, so that you can find your version of alignment and flow. So
yeah, that's exactly it.
That's really, really cool. Okay. So what types of human design are there? Like, what are the different types, and how do they affect our life and our choices and our nutrition and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I can kind of run through each of them.
Yeah.
And then, so if you haven't already, if you're listening to this, I would go get your chart first and then come back and listen to the rest. So you can kind of look at your chart and see, which one you are. So I'm going to start with generators. So generators are like the Energizer bunny types. Like they've got so much energy, and they're like the ones with all the ideas, like putting into action. They're super magnetic, and they're really here to do things that light them up and to do things that make them excited. And they have the energy to do all of that. They're super creative, and they're like the go, go, go types. And so for my generators, this is my advice I give to my generators that I work with. So here's your advice, generators listening. But when you're doing things that are like a full body yes, these are the things that if it doesn't light you up, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You're really run by your intuition. So you have this sacral energy that's like giving you like the gut yes, or the no, this is not right for you. And you're really designed to be turned on and have pleasure and joy in every aspect of your life. And that includes with your wellness. So not eating things you think you should be eating, or doing workouts you think you should be doing, but doing workouts that excite you and that are fun, that you enjoy. Because once you're doing the things that you think you should be doing is when you meet that resistance, and then it doesn't last.
Yeah.
And same thing with food, eating foods that excite you and that light you up, and not the foods that you necessarily think you should be eating. So super restrictive diets are usually not super successful for generators. And when you're feeling drained, when you're feeling like your energy is drained, adding in more fun activities, more fun, active things you can do that bring you pleasure. For generators, for sleep, it's really important to get all of your energy out throughout the day. So a lot of times if I have my generators who are having trouble falling asleep, usually a good indication that they haven't gotten enough physical exercise throughout the day. So getting all of your energy out, like I feel like it's like a puppy, like, you have to let a puppy outside and just let it get its energy out. And then then it's okay. It can take a nap. It's kind of like that. Just get all the energy out. So from generators, I'm going to go to manifestors. Manifestors is a really small percent of the population, only about 9% of the population. And these are like the visionaries. They have the vision, and then generators are the ones who kind of put the action out, like get the action done. And so they are the creative minds that come up with the vision, and their energetic needs are going to be different based on kind of where they are in this creative phase. So if they're in like an action phase, getting stuff done, they're going to want to eat more high caloric foods, maybe more like foods that may sit a little heavier, like dense foods, like, to give them more energy. If they're in a resting phase, they're going to want more cooling, more light and vibrant foods. But to be okay with letting that change, and again, not living by the shoulds, but knowing that your appetite and your caloric needs are going to change with like your energetic needs. And resting when possible, because there are these phases where there needs to be time for like reflection and rest before you kind of get those creative spurts of energy again. And this is these are people that can be really affected by generators or by manifesting generators, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So a lot of times, because they can kind of take on the energy of other people, and it can kind of wear out their own energy. And so just being mindful of like where you're putting your energy. And a lot of times I encourage my manifestors to take kind of a half hour to an hour before you go to bed to really like kind of disconnect from the day and like discharge from the day. Whether that's like, reading a book or listening to music or meditating or watching TV, like whatever it is, but just kind of like decompressing and taking that time to decompress before you get ready to actually go to bed. So next are my manifesting generators. That's what I'm a manifesting generator, and similar to a generator, full of energy. So it's super important for them to be able to get out all of their energy like a puppy. And the manifesting generators they do all the things. They have a million ideas going on in their head at once, and they want to do all the things. They want to do all of them. And so it's really important for them to kind of hone in on where they're putting their energy, because they really are, as much as people tell them, hey, you can't do everything, they are here to do everything. So everything that comes into their head, they are made to do it. They're made to do it. They're made to bring it to light. And because they have so much energy and so much creative ideas going on, they have high caloric needs. And so for a lot of my manifesting generators, it's like a deconditioning for them, thinking like, I'm eating too much, or I need to eat less, I'm eating too much. But they actually need that food. They need the calories to keep up with those high energetic needs. So I find there's a lot of deconditioning there in terms of like diet and stuff. with manifesting generators, they're here to do the things that light them up, like generators. And so to be okay with doing things in phases. So like, for example, like for exercise, you might have a running phase and a CrossFit phase or a weightlifting phase or a Pilates phase, but being okay with doing things in phases. And when something doesn't light you up anymore, then try something new, do something else. So people might see this as you being flaky, but this is really who you're conditioned to be, or who you were made to be, designed to be. You're designed to do things that light you up and excite you. And that's what brings you joy. And the same thing with food, eating in phases. There's nothing wrong with that. Super restrictive diets are usually not successful for manifesting generators. So being okay with eating what you feel like in the moment and eating the foods that you feel are going to nourish you and give you energy in the moment, not necessarily thinking as food as like good or bad, or, you know, restricting calories, that kind of thing. And then same with sleep, like my generators, getting all of the energy out before you fall asleep, making sure that you can get a good night's sleep because you've expelled all the energy out. So my next type is projectors. So projectors are, they're like the problem solvers, and they're here to help other people really focus and maximize their potential. They're good at like seeing things other people can't see. They can kind of have a vision and kind of see the big picture and help people kind of like break it down and distill it down. So for projectors, they should eat what makes them feel light and vibrant. So super heavy meals and big portions can make them feel kind of weighed down and lethargic. So eating light and vibrant foods, like snacking throughout the day. So eating just kind of little snacks throughout the day, then eating like big heavy meals. And they work best in small bouts. So they're really best at working like 3 or 4 hours at a time and then taking a break, whether it's taking a mental break, taking a nap. And they do actually require more sleep than my other types. And so I've had one of my clients, we were talking about it before I knew her type, and she's like, man, I just feel like I need naps throughout the day. Like, I just feel like I don't have the energy. And then once I did the type, and I'm like, you shouldn't apologize for it. Like, you do need naps. There's nothing wrong with taking naps. And so, you know, making sure that you're recharging your internal batteries and getting rest when you need to, taking a nap when you need to, and knowing that when you kind of work in these bursts of time, these specific chunks of time, that you might need longer rest period than others, and just giving yourself that space to like take the rest when you need it, like listening to your body and getting sleep, getting rest when you need it. And then the last type is reflectors. Very small percent of the population, only 1% of the population are reflectors. And they are a very unique type because they have a super open aura where they kind of take on the energy of everyone around them. And so they're really, really, responsive to other people's energies. And so you have to be really careful about your own energy, protecting your own energy, because you're taking so much in from the outside world. Mm-hmm. So their alone time and their environment is really important. So making time, making the space to have alone time, to be able to like disconnect from everybody else and everybody else's energy and kind of home back in on your own is super important for reflectors. A lot of times they can feel like heavy and burnt out easier than other types because they're taking on so many other people's energy. And so I always encourage my reflectors, like, have a space in your house that's yours, like whether it's a corner of a room or some corner of the house that's like, this is my space. This is my safe space where I can disconnect from the world and kind of like recharge my, you know, energetic batteries here. And then reflectors really do it's especially important for them to tune into their intuition, because they're going to feel different day in and day out, because their energy is really going to change based on who they're around day in and day out. So, you know, some days they might feel super energetic. Some days they might be around like generators or manifesting generators all day, and it just completely drains their energy. So being able to listen to their body, to know what type of exercise and what type of food is going to support their changing energetic needs based on the day and who they're around, and listening to their body and eating what helps them feel nourished and supported, and just gives them like consistent energy throughout the day. So they're really, really important to kind of hone in on their intuition. And then similar to a couple of the other types, taking time at the end of the day to really like disconnect from the day. They might need a little bit longer than projectors or generators or manifestors. They might need a little bit longer to disconnect from the day. So taking time to be alone, to disconnect from everyone else, to kind of hone back into your body and into your own energy so they can get a good night's sleep. And those are the types.
Wow. That's really interesting. It's almost like they all have something slightly in common, but they all have different actual styles. So I think once you get the idea of which one you are, it's going to be easier to zero in on how you should really set up your day, right? Oh, I love that.
For sure. Yeah.
I find that really interesting with the nutrition too, like as opposed to heavier meals versus snacks, or light, fresh, vibrant food versus calorie density and heavier sort of, grounding meals. That's really interesting. So how do you know though what, if you know your basic or your human design type, then is there a way to find out, okay, well, this is the type of food you should be eating, like more detailed, like so that you're not kind of winging it in terms of what you eat? How do you, how do you choose the right nutrition approach based on your human design type?
Yeah. So a lot of it is going to be like working with someone like myself who is trained in human design, who can help you out. But a lot of it you can get on so if you go to myhumandesign.com, that's typically the website I recommend, because I feel like she does a really good job with explaining like the basics, but because there's so much information, you can go to some sites and you're like, this is so overwhelming, because it can be super overwhelming, especially when you start getting to the astrology pieces and there's like planets and there's like, it just gets really dense. But if you're just looking for like the overall, like, I just need the gist of it, I don't need all of the inside stuff. Her site is really good. And she does give you some information on like the best environment to eat in. And she'll give you like your best sense, like the sense that's most important, whether it's smell, touch, taste. And so she kind of gives you a little more information on kind of some of the wellness pieces. And then the rest of it really is just kind of working with someone who knows human design, who can help you kind of navigate your own.
Yeah. So people could work with you and get more of a sense of, okay, this is who I am. Because I think it would be easier for you to spot it in somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Rather than then having to go, is that me? I think that's me. Like when we're all like, I feel like that's me. Or is that the me I want to be? Or is that the me I really am? Like having someone that's a third party would help.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, in that case, how do people find out more from you, Hope? Like, how do they find you and work with you? And
Yeah. So I'm probably most active on Instagram. I'm at the Hope Pedraza. And then I also have a free Facebook group, Live Wholesome and Healthy, just about all things holistic nutrition and holistic living.
Awesome. Yep. And I know your podcast too has lots of helpful episodes in general that are going to help people out in life as well.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Lovely. Oh my gosh. This has been really, really interesting. I'm dying to go and find out my own human design type now. I'm like really excited to discover which one I am.
You need to. Yeah. Yes, go look it up.
Does it take very long to do it? Is it like, hey, put aside an hour or?
No. Oh, no, not at all. You literally just need to know the time and date of your birth, the time, date, and place of your birth, and then that's it. It does the rest.
That is so easy.
Get your birth certificate first. Make sure you have a birth certificate to look up your exact time and place. But yeah, it's super easy.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, I'm really excited to give that a try. And I really think our listeners are going to love that as well. So thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
To it.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a really fun chat. I didn't realize how deep this stuff can go, and I'm really excited to find out more. And I bet I'm not the only one.
Totally.
Lovely. All right. So for everybody listening today, we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. And if you want to find out more from Hope, go ahead and look at Instagram. You can go and find it there. Check out her podcast. And I will leave links in the show notes so that Hope is really easy to find. So you can find it nice and easily. And I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.